Alright, welcome back to the channel. So, this video here, what we're going to go over is why I lap my CPU and my water blocks or coolers in general. Lapping it as in match lapping it the best you can without going into extreme measures to do so. This is more or less to go off of other videos I've done on going over a bunch of CPUs, the exact same CPUs. Going over the exact same CPUs and showing it with a feeler gauge down to 0.004 of an inch feeler gauge, showing how each individual CPU can vary on whether or not it's going to be perfect contact in the middle, good contact across the whole surface, or even just poorly contact throughout, as in they're convex, concave, and wavy. And they vary. They all vary between each and every single one of them, which is wild, to be honest. And the bigger the CPU, and we got some pretty big CPUs nowadays, the bigger the CPU, the more issues that there's going to be throughout. It could be the nickel plating that's bad. It could be just the actual copper IHS itself that's bad, and also the soldering process to do the solder, the actual indium solder, as in here, the actual indium solder. That could be when they contact the indium solder to the IHS and put the actual IHS onto the CPU, and that's what they do. They use indium solder. Indium solder, a little bit of silver solder, depends on CPU, of course. But yeah, so this video here is just going to go over quickly here on why I actually do things a certain way. And right now we got old Xeon, another old Xeon, and a 13900K here. I'm going to show just from actual, without lap at all. They're literally just from factory retail CPUs that you can buy, and show the contact pressure. All of them will have been done on this actual cooler here. And again, I left the last one here, that's why it's in the center, to show the contact between the last one here and why I did this. So this right here, I lapped it. It was nickel plated. I lapped it, and it's all copper now, and it's pretty flat, pretty flat. Again, within a good tolerance for CPU cooling. You can go further if you wanted, and maybe gain a little bit more performance, but it's match lapped with the exact same block, the exact same way, and matched for the CPU. That's the exact same here. So what we're going to show off first is the 13900K here. So here's the 13900K, and as you can see, as you can clearly see, it's not great. Now, I am not using a contact plate for the 17th gen or up CPUs. That's not the issue. It's more or less my cooler itself has been lapped. My monoblock, I actually lapped my monoblock. It's a custom monoblock for the Z690 ORS Master, and this is what you get when you lap the block and have not lapped the CPU yet. Yeah, I mean, you can get this too. It could be about the same or a little bit worse depending on the actual cooler that you have too. AIO, custom water block, and or air cooler. It could be actually worse, as in the contact pressure just going to be a little bit in the center, and then you'll get all this terrible contact on the sides. Looks like it contacts the center really good, and the one side here a little bit better than the other side, and that's kind of to be expected with these CPUs, to be honest. So that is 13900K. So it's not great, right? Not great. And then we got an old Xeon here. As you can see, the old Xeon, this old Xeon is terrible. We are making decent contact through the center though, which is where the die is, which is good. But the sides are not great. As you can see, it's really bad on the one side. Again, I did not lap this, and it's with the exact same cooler as this one here, and I used the exact same cooler on the 13900K as well. But yeah, this right here contact is the exact same because I lapped the actual coolers. Both coolers have been lapped the same way for all my CPUs that I lap. Right now that's in the system is the 12600K has been lapped, and quite well, to be honest. But this is it. This is terrible. And this can vary. This is these can all vary between CPUs, but generally you do get a better contact throughout the center where the actual die is, the actual architecture die that is the CPU die underneath. That is where it is. As you can see, most of them are the exact same CPUs are right underneath, which is good. That's what you want. But having more surface area of contact is going to be beneficial for thermal wicking. The thickness of the copper and the nickel are thicker to the die. So the closer that you can get to the CPU die, the better thermal wicking that you can get. As in, as soon as it hits a load, it's not going to spike up as far, and it will actually wick away the temperature away from the core faster. So that is what you want to not really see, is that. Or, like I said, the 13900K here. Not the greatest. Again, it works throughout the center, but having more surface area and a thinner contact area. Now, these older CPUs are thicker, as in the copper is thicker than the newer ones. These CPUs, even though this one's more square, this one's more rectangle, these have the exact same surface area. So versus 1366 and LGA 1700 IHS are the same surface area. Like within very, very little amount. Like they are the exact same. And then we got the exact same CPU. Again, another LGA 1366 CPU, but this one has been lapped. This one could be done a bit better, as you can see. The side here and the side here could be a bit better. Right? It could. Could very well be a little bit better. But as you can see, way better contact. I did touch the sides a little bit, so there's a little bit missing, but you can kind of get the aspect of how well it's actually touching. The sides there, and those sides there that you see, there is actual nickel plating still on the actual IHS, which means I can go a little bit farther, but you got to watch how far you actually lap. You don't want to go too thin, or else there won't be enough pressure onto the actual CPU IHS with the cooler to actually make good contact and make sure, you know, you're not going to bottom out through the actual latch. The latch that holds the CPU in place. So that is one thing you got to worry about too. But as you can see, like literally as you can see here, they're tightened to the exact same specs as well. Not one was not tighter than the other one. But as you can see, a lot less thermal paste afterwards. It all spewed out through the sides, cleaned up through each one. This one here, as you pull up, it suction cups, and as you can see with these mountain ridges, I like to call them mountains on these ones. These ones are not mountains. Mountains, basically. Look at that. Like, you can literally see. Without the cat hair, though. But as you can see, mountains compared to a lapped CPU on a lap cooler. And you'll see that without a lap cooler, too. Even if you, let's say you lapped the CPU and you didn't lap the cooler, and the cooler was all wavy or convex or concave, you'd see the pattern, too. And this right here is the contact from this CPU. And as you can see, it matches. It matches. Right? The sides here, and that side over there, match. And the contact all throughout the rest of it is really good. And that's what you want to see. Very good contact. Very little thermal paste afterwards. And that's what, if you're doing extreme overclocking, doing LN2, dry ice even, but more or less LN2, you want to see very good contact throughout the whole IHS. Very little thermal paste at the end. More or less, the more thermal paste you have in between the CPU and the cooler, not a cooler like water block, but an LN2 pot, the less thermal paste that you see afterwards will actually show how well your contact is. And generally, when you're benching LN2, less thermal paste due to the fact thermal paste itself, whether or not you're getting thermal grizzlies, do I have these two showing. MX4, so this MX4 is good till about negative 50 degrees Celsius. Thermal grizzly extreme cryonaut is good for about below 100 easily. They say around negative 200, but below 100 easily, which is way better than the MX4. And the better thermal paste for LN2, which goes down to 100 negative 197-ish Celsius. That's what you want to see. Less thermal paste because it'll crack. As you cool something down, it will harden up. Better thermal paste will kind of make it better, as in it's going to be better not to crack on you. And you'll hear it. You'll hear it if it cracks on you. It'll make a big popping noise because it's literally like splitting apart underneath the cooler. And that's when you have to stop benching, heat it up, because you generally will crash too. You will crash if you crack the paste. So MX4 is good to about negative 50. Thermal Grizzly is good for negative 100 easily, negative 200. They even done it on LN2, and also liquid helium, which goes to almost negative 300. So it's insanely cool compared to LN2 and dry ice. Dry ice is about negative 78-ish, like 77.8, but 78, negative 78 roughly for dry ice. So there's big differences. So MX4 couldn't even do dry ice technically. Thermal Grizzly can do all three, no problem. But again, you will have issues more arise on whether or not what temperatures you're going to and how much thermal paste you actually have between the CPU and the cooler. So less is better. And again, less is always going to be better for contact. Contact throughout the whole CPU to the cooler with as little thermal paste, because thermal paste is not going to be as good at wicking away or capturing that heat as well as copper. So having something that contacts better throughout the whole thing without having any kind of like bad scratches. Again, having a polished CPU or polished cooler isn't necessarily going to be better. You kind of want to have like very, very fine scratches on the CPU and the cooler. We're talking you can't feel these scratches, but you want to make sure that it's not mirror polished, because the actual thermal paste can slip out. That is one thing you got to worry about as well. You don't want to polish it. So again, I'll leave a link in the description on affiliate links that you can click on for lapping plates for your CPU and cooler if you want to do that as well. I'll leave links for MX4 for people that just want to get it. You can get these 45-gram tubes at a good price. And I'll leave a link for Thermal Grizzly as well. And if you guys want to go and do that, that's up to you. Again, MX4, I've been using this stuff for a while now. I do love my Thermal Grizzly though for getting a little bit thermal temperatures when I'm doing cold. And then yeah, MX4 for daily type deals if you want to save some money and just buy a big tube for all your builds. A big tube like this will last you years. For me, it does not last that long for how much I do benching on GPUs and CPUs, so it doesn't last me as long, but it still lasts a long time, and it's a lot cheaper than buying Thermal Grizzly and using it all the time. This is good to use when cold. It's really good for daily too. Like temperatures are a bit better than MX4, of course, but it's a lot more pricier. But I'll leave a link in the description for Thermal Grizzly, MX4. I'll leave an affiliate link as well for the actual cooler if you want to test that out. I do have a video testing it out against the 13900K. It works just fine for a 13900K. You will have to have a custom water loop, of course, and I'll leave an affiliate link for those lapping plates. But hopefully this explains some reasons why I have lap CPUs and lap coolers, and why I like to talk about it quite a bit on my live streams and that when I'm doing my benching. It's because getting that little bit extra thermal wicking away, it will help the actual load temps. So instead of it spiking right up in temperatures, it will just slowly rise in temperature, and that's what you want. You don't want that spikeage of temperature, because that's when your scores can go down. That's when things can crash, especially when you're tweaking it to be like getting #1 score. Again, thank you to everyone that is watching my videos, my live streams. Again, thank you to all my donators, viewers, and subscribers. The channel just seems to grow more and more every single day. There is a Discord if you guys want to join the Discord channel as well. Seems to be growing more and more every day as well. So again, thank you all for watching. And as always, don't forget to get her done. Peace.